I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
All right, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 190th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and we are ready to rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate and I are here, and we are doing the thing. She's down in the duck, pressing the buttons and making everything work all right, and the rest of us are here. You guys are doing your part here, communicating with us. Thank you for being here. Wherever you're watching from, we want to thank you and welcome you. We hope that you are here from YouTube. If you're not here, please, if you're not here from YouTube, please try to scoot that way at some point. It's a better viewing experience in my opinion. It is what it is. Yeah, right. Were you not here Friday, Jack? I don't know. All right. Hey, the rest of you, if you're here from YouTube, please do the YouTube thing. You know what that is. It's pretty cool. Just go down through. It's real easy. All you got to do is like the show. It's worth a like, I promise. You can do that. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit that like button. Hit the subscription button if you haven't subscribed already. Hit the bell so you stay notified on when we go live 5 days a week, when we release shorts, when we put out other static videos, yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, do the other very important thing, which is communicate with us. We like to hear what you're thinking, whether you're watching live and can communicate over in the live box with us there, or if you're watching on your time at a later date and you want to communicate, you need to communicate down below. We will get back with you, I promise. But above all else, please share the show with everyone you know. And that is the biggest way that you can help us out. All right. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a big show. I've had a lot of people calling and talking to me about this. People on both sides of the political aisle. People all over, mostly a lot of Delaware County people. Other people from other areas as well, because the same thing seems to be going on pretty much all over East Central Indiana, probably beyond, honestly, specifically here in Indiana. But I'm sure it's probably playing out in other states as well, maybe in other scenarios with various parties being the party on top, you know, how it plays out. But I would be willing to bet that this same issue is going on everywhere. So we're going to get into that. We've got really two topics that we're going to talk about tonight. We've got the big topic that we're going to talk about, which is this melding of the parties together into one large, massive blob of one massively horrible, corrupt, and disgusting party that is here to only help the people in charge, only help those that are currently running to try to stay in office for the majority, and do things against us, the citizens. It does not help the county. It does not help the people in the county. It doesn't help the voters. It doesn't help the citizens. It helps no one except themselves. And we're going to be talking about that. Oh, back off. Let me see here. Wait a minute. Okay. So I had asked this question, and I need to find out. I need to find this out. Is there someone working in the Delaware County voters registration, which is through the clerk's office, with the initials KB? It's a very good possibility. You know, there could be various names, obviously, because I saw some ballots. I saw some ballots over the weekend, and they were ballots of people that I had helped get mail-in ballots, and in the very, very top corner, they were marked with the initials KB, and I got a little spooked because I was afraid that just maybe the clerk's office knew that somehow I had helped these people get these ballots, and they were going to use them to toss away. Who knows? You know, you never know what goes on election day, but it now makes me happy to hear that other folks have seen those same initials on ballots of people that I have not helped. So that must be the initial of someone up there. And my conspiracy theory is not something that I need to run wild with. So very good.
You missed quotes on our last show.
Yeah,
so
I noticed that.
I
was just going to say we're going to hit that today. I noticed. I didn't actually notice it while I was doing the show, and it was when I went back through because someone asked me a question, and I was like, I know I talked about this, and so when I went back through, it was actually yesterday afternoon. I went back through and watched the show, and I was like, huh. We didn't do quotes. So let's do the quotes real quick to make y'all happy. All political parties die at last of swallowing their own lies. Oh man. Now that is a fantastic quote. And I honestly don't know. Man, I almost don't know that there's one that can top that. All political parties die at last of swallowing their own lies. Man, that is a fantastic quote specifically for tonight's show. It took me quite a while to develop my voice, and now that I have it, I won't be silent. Always a fantastic quote. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Very good quote. And then, of course, the world would not be in such a snarl had Marx been Groucho instead of Carl. Very, very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to tell you tonight, the show that we're going to be talking about is going to be very, at least in the initial part, this first topic is going to be really Delaware County specific. However, as I stated, I feel like what we're talking about probably goes on in other counties, and we kind of see it play out. I know Madison County is experiencing this, you know, and so don't run away just because we're not specifically focusing on Henry County, or we're not specifically focusing on Randolph County or whatever, because you can take the principles that we're learning and apply it to your area. So one of the things that has happened, and this has really been interesting, so our primaries in Indiana are always hotly debated on how we do our primaries. The fact that you have to go in, people are like, well, I don't like that I have to go in and say Republican or Democrat ballot. And people, you know, it's hard to get people to understand, well, that's how we do it, because you got to go in and vote for the people from the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. And that's, you know, you've got to be able to do that in order to then set that up for the November ballot. Now, I have always said flat out that I believe that the Indiana election process in May should look exactly like this. We should all walk in. We should show them our ID, get the ballot, walk over to the voting booth, and then I should be presented with a ballot that comes up. And after going through, you know, it should have me vote for the Republican presidential candidates. And if there are 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 30, however many, it should have me pick the one that I want. And then I should go down and it should say the Democratic candidates running for president. And I should pick whichever one I want. If I want to pick the most formidable candidate, if I want to pick the worst candidate, but I should pick both of those parties going down. For example, in the Delaware County commissioner's race, Commissioner District 1, we have 2 candidates running as Republican. We've got one, in my opinion, a real Republican, a conservative Republican. And then we've got a guy that is a lifelong Democrat who's been a Republican for the last several years, since 2016, because of the political gain that it got him. And so you can go down through and you can vote for Stephen Brand, or you can vote for James King. And my ballot, the way I think it should run, I should get to pick one of those. And then the next person that I would vote for would be the Democrat race in that situation. And then what happens is I would get a pick from, well, in that case, for example, Ashley Wright is running and there is no other candidate. So I could either vote for Ashley Wright or I could leave her blank. I believe that all of us should be able to go in and vote all the way down the ballot. It shouldn't be a Republican Democrat thing. And if you only wanted to vote in the Republican section, then fantastic, do that. If you only wanted to vote in the Democrat section, you could do that. The same thing as voting straight party, if that's what you so choose to do, but you have those choices, okay? Or probably what would be more beneficial is if we didn't have the primaries this way, because the primaries, ladies and gentlemen, are for the parties. They're not for, it's not something that's going on. It's very strange, and people have a hard time with this concept. This is a situation where closed parties, the Republican Party is trying to figure out who they want to run for them in November, and the state puts on this election for them. The Democrats are doing the same thing. The only problem is locally, and this is happening in a lot of areas throughout East Central Indiana, there are no Democrats on the ballot. Everybody in Indiana likes to bitch about the Democrats. Oh, the stinking Democrats, the Democrats, the Democrats. Folks, if you're pissed off with a politician, if you're pissed off with the government in your area, and you live in East Central Indiana specifically, chances are you're mad at a Republican. There's just no Democrats that are out there running. There are no Democrats that are, you might have, I think right now, just talking about the county area, I think we have 3 Democrats on the ballot. 4 maybe, if you're talking about Kimberly Dowling, the judge. 4. But she doesn't have an opponent. But if you're talking about, you know, and of those 4, none of them are contested. So all of those Democrat candidates, those very few and far between Democrat candidates, they all go on to November. So there's no real reason to even have them on. And because of that, we're seeing something happen. Now, I want to make sure that people are not misconstruing what I am saying here, because I've already seen some very small-minded people get confused about what I am saying here. I am not trying to say that people do not have a right to go in and pull the ballot that they wish and vote for the people of their choice. You have that right, and you, as a single solitary voter out there, have the right. You should have the right, and I will fight to the death your right to go in and pull whatever ballot you want to pull and cast a vote for whoever you want to vote for. You can go in and you can vote for the best candidate out of the bunch. You can vote for the worst candidate out of the bunch. You can vote for all candidates that I am against, and I will fight for your right to do that. Okay? It's very important that people understand that. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I am talking about here is the fact that we have quote unquote party people that are currently in the act of making open calls for the people on the other side to come on, come all, come over to our side and vote for a form of Operation Chaos so that people that we do not like can and will get beat so that November is a better shot. I'm not talking about the voters. Voters, do what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, do it. What I'm talking about is the fact that we have quote unquote party insiders, party people that are doing this as an open call. Let me tell you why I have a problem with this. A couple of years ago, I sat in an election board meeting where Victor Whitehead was the party chair of the Republican Party, and he filed a challenge I don't even know what he was running for, but there was a candidate that was wanting to run for something on the ballot, and Victor challenged him. And the reason Victor challenged this candidate, because the candidate was a Republican, is a Republican, has clearly been a Republican. There's no question, like him, love him, hate him, whatever. The truth of the matter is the way he carries himself and the way he lives his life is as a Republican. I'm talking about Andrew Pop. And Victor Whitehead challenged him and said that he was not a Republican in good standing because he donated, I think, like $15, donated $15 to the campaign of a Democrat candidate. And now, while I don't like the Democrat candidate that this person, Andrew Pop, donated to, that's a me issue. Andrew, as a citizen, as a person living here in Muncie, Delaware County, Indiana, and as someone who wanted to run as a Republican candidate for something, maybe precinct committee person or delegates, I mean, it was something minor, he had donated to a Democrat. And what I mean by donated was this Democrat had a fundraiser and he bought tickets to the fundraiser and went and ate like a chili hot dog or something some evening. He and his wife went, had supper, ate there, and that was that. The reasoning is he had been a lifelong family friend. He had been a lifelong family friend of this person and this person's other family members. It was a situation where the candidate was a mother, and the child of this person, the stepchild of this person, was of the same age or age range of Andrew Pop. And so he was friends with this guy. Because of that, he was friends with the mother, yada, yada, yada. And he supported her by giving her $15 or something. I don't know that the money angle is right. It might have been $20. It might have been $10. I think it was less than 100. It was definitely less than 100. But he had attended this. And Victor Whitehead was able to say, because of this, he is not a Republican in good standing. And the election board all voted unanimously, I believe, or at least 2-1, it passed to not allow him to run. Okay? Now, think about that. Think about the precedent that sets. The precedent that sets, because now we are saying here, as a citizen, you're not permitted to be a Republican, and if your brother is a Democrat, you're not permitted to support your blood brother over the Republican Party for fear that you might be kicked out of the Republican Party. That is asinine. That type of thinking is crazy. That's nuts that would happen. Now, scoot forward to 2024, and we have a primary in which, I want to pull this up. I was started to work on this to pull this up, but it got away from me because I got to talking. Give me a second here and let me get this. Let me get this pulled up here. Make sure that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're almost there. Give me 1 second. Man, it's amazing. You know, Facebook just, I hate the new way Facebook does things, how they will bury content. And if you don't look at the content straight away, and you can be looking for something and they can post stuff from a week ago, and that will be posted before something from yesterday, or vice versa. It's nonsense. Okay, here we go. Yep, here we are. So I want to show you this. Now, listen to me. I completely understand that the candidates that I like and that I support might not be liked or supported by all people. This is not an issue where I am jamming candidates down your throat. You all know who I support. I know who there are viewers that watch this that do not support candidates that I choose. That's not what this is about. What this is about is the party people and the actions of the people in the party. And we're going to get to what I'm talking about here in just a moment. So there's a group. In this group, there's a commenter who posts, here's your ballot. Study and learn about the candidates. If you're going to vote in the Republican primary, any candidate is better candidate than Ryan Webb. Brad Bookout, Amber Green, Lori Jesse, Jessica Piper, Eugene Whitehead, David Williams are all miles more qualified than the narcissistic, cowardly, bigoted embarrassment that is Ryan Webb. All right? That is the comment of a citizen. Now, I might agree, I might disagree, whatever. I'm not talking about where I stand on that or where I feel like you should stand on that. I don't agree with that. I do not agree that Brad Bookout is, I don't agree with Brad Bookout. I do not agree with Lori Jesse. Nobody's even seen Lori Jesse. Lori Jesse I know who she is. She's a paper-only candidate. No money raised, no actions, no signs, nothing. All right? So there's just, that's the point. But that's not what I care about. I do not care about that. What I care about is let me see.
That's okay, Charlize, and we appreciate that very much.
What?
She just said that just for the record, it wasn't her that wrote that.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. Right. No. It was not. Yes. Okay, here we go. All right. A longtime fan of the show, probably one of my biggest fans ever, Mike Jones, writes, you can pull a Republican ballot to ensure it. Then you can vote for whomever you want in the fall. I would suggest any Democrat consider doing that, as there is no contested Democrats on the ballot. Bookout, Piper, Whitehead are my suggestions. All right. Mike Jones. All right. Now, I consider Mike Jones to be a washed up, has been lackey henchman, someone that has no bearing on reality, no bearing on anything that goes on. He is a nobody, and he is of no consequence. However, unfortunately, I am not the only person out here in the world. And unfortunately, one or two of our current Delaware County commissioners look at Mike Jones as some sort of counsel. They look at him as some appropriate company to keep. And honestly, I don't know about that. I think they probably see him as a scuzzy sewer rat just the same, of no consequence. But they know that while in the rat, the gutter will do the work that a sewer rat will do. And so they give him tasks, and he completes the tasks. He is like the old school, he likes the fact that he's an old school union guy. Okay. This is kind of like what he does. He is using the quote unquote old school union thug tactics to attack people that are supporting anyone other than his son-in-law and his son-in-law's friends. Okay. And hey, thank you, Janet. So the issue here is we have this man who holds court with some of the most high-ranking, quote-unquote, Republicans. He allegedly speaks on behalf of them. He makes posts on maybe a daily occurrence, if not at least 2 or 3 times a week, where he seems as if he is speaking on behalf of the entire Republican Party. So much so many times that I have actually called Ed Carroll and Jessica Piper out, tagging them on social media and saying, wait a minute, is this man, is he speaking on behalf of the Republican Party? Is he now a communications director for the party? Is he the secretary? What position does Mike Jones hold within the Delaware County Republican Party? Because listen, to my knowledge, to my understanding, Mike Jones is a Democrat. He is a lifelong Democrat. He has spent his life serving as a Democrat, working as a Democrat, acting as a Democrat, doing Democrat things, So the fact that he now feels entitled or compelled to speak on behalf of or for the Republican Party, first of all, that's something that boggles my mind. Why would the Republican Party allow this to happen? what goes on? Who is actually leading the Republican Party? Look, I know for a fact, it's not an opinion. It's not something that I just dreamed up. I know for a fact that for the last year and a half, Ed Carroll has been on the clock for the Delaware County government as the elected auditor. And he's set his ass in the seat in the auditor's office in his closed inner sanctum in the office, closing the curtains, closing the windows, doing whatever, and sitting down with Republican officials and doing Republican Party business while he's been on the clock as the Delaware County auditor. Absolutely. That's what he's been doing. And I've questioned that. I don't think that should be happening. I do not believe that that should be okay. Now, I don't know what he's been doing as party chair because he does not have a backbone. He is not a leader. He is not doing Republican-like things. He's not a conservative in any stretch of the imagination. But he's been in there doing party work. And he and his vice president, Jessica Piper, feel as though they can just willy-nilly call out who they believe are Republicans or not Republicans, Republicans in good standing, not Republicans in good standing, for various ludicrous reasons. But yet, when the Republican commissioner has a lackey or a henchman on his campaign committee, his campaign team, in whatever way Mike assists King in the election, and this guy calls for the Democrats of Delaware County to openly flip the script in the primary, come over, pull a Republican ballot, and vote against King's challenger, his son-in-law's challenger, and his son-in-law's friends, Piper and Eugene and you know, all of that. His son-in-law, of course, being Brad Bookout. And because the Republican Party does not put out some kind of memo, some kind of post saying, wait a minute, this is not being done on behalf of the Republican Party. We did not authorize this. You know, we are saying that Democrats should vote as Democrats, Republicans should vote as Republicans. Citizens should vote however they so choose. You're free to do whatever you want. But the fact that they are so willing to hold James King, remember, he is a former Democrat. I will contend that he is a lifelong Democrat. He is a lifelong Democrat working as a Republican to do Delaware County Democrat type shit. Counselor Webb says, unfortunately, Rick Spangler's doing the same thing. Let's talk about that. Rick Spangler is the Delaware County elected clerk. Now, listen, I know that the clerk is going to have to play some politics every now and then because, let's face it, the clerk is an elected position. The clerk is elected by the public. The clerk has to run every 4 years. So, of course, you're going to have the candidate that is running for clerk and or the official that is the clerk running for re-election. You're going to have that person doing some political things in their bid to either win the office or be re-elected to the office. I get it. But when they are not on the ballot, when they're not running, when they're in their off years conducting the election, because some people might not know this, but the elected clerks are the head of the elections for each county in Indiana. And so, in my opinion, for people to have faith in the electoral process, the clerk should keep himself or herself out of the political fray as much as possible. But the fact that we have a Delaware County elected clerk that feels comfortable enough to pick up the phone and call other Republicans or hell, maybe even Democrats to say, you shouldn't be supporting Brand, you should be supporting King. That does not make one feel very confident that maybe he doesn't have some underlying affinity or some underlying connection to James King in such a way that maybe he's willing to do something dirty. Let's just face it. There's the serious issue with the Republican chairman in Madison County. There are serious questions with the clerk in Madison County, with the election board. And the same damn thing is happening here. The very same thing is happening right here in Delaware County. I'm sure it's happening. Well, look, let's face it. Let's face it. It's definitely happening in Henry County. In Henry County this past week, the very controversial sheriff shared a post that, again, was a controversial post. And then the Republican Party shared that post. And after some complaints, the Republican Party chair or someone took that post down. And now you have the sheriff and others yelling and complaining and going on. So this happens everywhere, folks. It's happening everywhere. The fact that we don't have easily defined sides I don't think that's as good as what people think that is. I don't think that having a blending of the teams is a good thing in this case. The people should be able to do what they want to do. But we should have clear defined teams. Let me look for this. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so let me look. I was seeing what was happening here. I want to show you guys a post I had made earlier. Let me pull this up. Now, it's going to be a little hard to see. I understand. I know it. It's going to be tough, but I will walk you through. I'll walk you through what this is. All right. This message is to all citizens of Delaware County and to the members of the Delaware County Republican Party and the Delaware County Democratic Party. Look, I'm not just picking one party out or the other. I am talking to them both. What in the bloody hell is happening? Have the two parties teamed up? Because it sure seems like there's one big, nasty, messy, incestuous party. Who's in charge? I remember back when the Republicans were Republicans that supported Republicans, but they didn't get too crazy in the primary, meaning they let the Republicans that were running in the primary sort themselves out before they picked winners and or losers. They didn't go in day one in January and say, okay, this is our list of people we're supporting. These are the outsiders. Bang. They didn't do that. All right. That wasn't part of the game. I can also remember at that very same time when the Delaware County Democratic Party supported Democrats, but they also didn't get too carried away in the primary. Same thing. But now it's 2024. I just don't know. Something is wrong. Republicans are asking Democrats for their support and their vote, working hard to get them to cross the line on election day. The party chairs are nowhere to be found. They are sitting quietly as various people speak on behalf of their parties, making a giant mockery of it all. Washed up has been lackeys and henchmen for the various parties and old candidates now seem to have more of a voice and a backbone than the leaders of the party have or have had for quite some time. What is the deal? Ed Carroll, Jessica Piper, that's the Republican chair and vice chair. Anna Cork-Hunter, Jerry Dishman, that's the Democratic Party chair and vice chair. What is going on? We have lifelong Democrats telling other Democrats to pull Republican ballots in the upcoming 2024 primary to help elect a couple of other longtime Democrats that are currently running as Republicans. Meanwhile, very few to no Democrats really run anymore on the Democratic ticket. It's insane. Then some of those lifelong Democrats also push other weak-minded Republicans because, yay, who wouldn't want the worst of the worst Republicans to win? That sounds good, right? Wrong. The weak and scared Republicans, like Jessica Piper, should be voted out now. Go, don't look back, just go. This crazy cross-pollination is not good for either party. It's not good for Delaware County, and it's definitely not good for the citizens of the county. Scott Alexander, can you believe that Jessica lied right to your face about the advert that James King's lackey, Bill Walters, and his Citizen for Transparency bought her? I mean, that's shocking to me. With everything that Scott Alexander has done for Jessica Piper and everything that's happened there, and for her to be able to turn on him the way that she has is maddening. It's crazy. Citizens of Delaware County, none of these freaks are even hiding any of this anymore. I hope that you're paying attention. I hope that you're paying attention. And then I shared this post, this picture, where Democrat Mike Jones is acting like he's talking to Republicans, or he is talking to Republicans, and he's wanting them to ensure that they pull a Republican ballot so they can screw things up. It's called Operation Chaos. It's been around for a while. Mike Jones also was the same person who shared this. The Republicans, can't see. I circled that so I don't see what was the word actually is there. Let me go get it here real quick. The Republican base of the GOP the Republican base of the GOP support these candidates: Jessica Piper, Eugene Whitehead, and Brad Bookout. So it's interesting to me that a Democrat, Mike Jones, and his Democrat son-in-law, Bookout, are also supporting Whitehead and Piper, who claim to be Republican. You know, they don't act very Republican to me. I don't believe that they're Democrat. I honestly don't believe that they're brave enough to actually come out and list what they are and tell what they believe. So it's interesting that they're backed by Democrat Mike Jones, who's talking to Republicans, even though he's a Democrat. And then in the same breath, he's talking to Democrats, telling them to come over to the Republican side. Why does the Republican leadership not tell James King, who they are fully supporting, to not get his guy in check? Hey, this is not good for the party. If Ryan Webb, let's not use Ryan Webb. Let's use Amber Green. Let's use Amber Green, because Amber Green while it's my contention that Jessica Piper clearly doesn't want Amber running, I don't believe that Ed Carroll wants her running. So the party leadership doesn't technically want Amber running, although she has been welcomed by the Republican Party more so than others. If she came out and said, okay, Democrats, I want you all to come over here and do this, this, and this, they would cancel her in a second. They would say she's not part of the Republican Party, but it's okay for Mike Jones to do it. Why? Why the discrepancy in who can do this or not? And when we're talking about this, and when we're pulling this out, and when we're talking about this, people will say, well, wait a minute. What happens when Ryan Webb asks for these people to come out and vote for him? They're clearly Democrats. Listen, it's one thing for a candidate, Jessica Piper, Amber Green, Ryan Webb, Brad Bookout, James King. It's one thing for a candidate to be out working and talking and trying to win votes and talking to their friends that might be of the other party and saying, hey, I really could use your support. I really could use your vote. That's one thing. That is a candidate asking for votes. That's what they do. But when you get someone who, at least in his mind, purports to be speaking for the party, and he is doing this, listen, I'm calling for the Republican leadership, Ed Carroll, Jessica Piper. You need to either come out against Mike's comments, and you need to do it by tomorrow morning, or you need to resign your seats as chair and vice chair. You do not have the party's mind, in your minds at least, you do not have the party's well-being in mind. You're not pushing a party. At least Victor, and for all that I said wrong with Victor, for all that I did not like about Victor, at least Victor tried to carry the ball forward. He might have also been a screw up and done a bunch of dumb shit, but at least he tried to carry the ball forward. Onward to victory. Ed Carroll and Jessica Piper must be removed from power as the chair and vice chair. So I don't. I just don't understand what's going on there. And then to step back, what's the Democrat Party doing? Oh, no way, Brandon. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. But going back to my point, what's the Democrats doing? Are the Democrats not worried that their people are being called on by someone that's purporting to be a Republican? or do they know? Because let me tell you again, at the beginning of this election, back in November and December, I was told, as were several others, that James King, Mike Jones, and a few others were sitting down with Democrat Party leadership to work something out to make sure that they were all on the same page. And I thought, wait a minute, that's not how this works. What are we talking about? And they were like, no, that's crazy, that's crazy, that's crazy. But now we're here. Now we're here. Hold on here. So this thing says, my opinions are controversial, but Chris welcomes opposing opinions on YouTube. I'm not seeing any controversial post. The comment before that says, even though my comments may be controversial, they should be put up. And then before that, I see, consider paying less than 1 penny per day, which is only $2.99 per month, to become a. I don't see any controversial. I don't see anything controversial. I think we agree with all of those things. Yeah. I think all of that stuff's good. This is not controversial at all. Consider paying less than 1 penny per day, which is only $2.99 per month, to become a Political Spotlight member. You will have a member emoji by your name when you make comments. If you so choose to do that, we would love you forever. But you can also just become a sub. You can sub for free or become a member if you so choose. Yeah, no, we love. Oh, please go back further. Okay, let me take some time and do this here real quick. Even though my comments are controversial here. Let's see here. Okay, voting machines are safe. Fox and Friends kept lying and saying Dominion machines cheat. Okay, yeah, I'm not really talking about that, but yeah, that's okay. That's up there. Is there something else? This is up there. I haven't seen any of my messages. Thank you. And then I see something about tornadoes. I agree. Since he's so interested, maybe you guys could contact the National Weather Station. Okay. Is there something? Is there more? There are more. There are more. Oh, okay. Hold on here. Let's go all the way back here. Let's go all the way back. Hold on here. Hello. There's this from Steve. Hello, Spotlighters. There's this. Here's this. We are Lenny. Welcome. No problem, Lenny. We love being here. Oh, then the only other thing I see is, however, Fox and Friends were sued. I don't. Who was talking about this? Yeah, I don't see anything controversial there. Yeah, everything's well. I do have some Sproles news. We'll get to that here towards the very end. I see that, Doug Neal. I don't know if Doug's still here, but I do have some Sproles stuff. But I'll talk about that at the very, very end as I cover his weird ass comments from this weekend. But we'll get to that. Oh yeah, no, not I'm cool with anti-Republican comments or anti-Democrat comments. I'm fine either way. So I'm good with that. Anti it up. Anti. I'm as anti as it gets. So all right. Now the only thing that I want people to just consider this. As a voter in Delaware County, you have the choice to vote however you so choose. You can vote Republican, you can vote Democrat. You can vote however you want to vote, okay? And that's not an issue. You are free to do as you please. I'm not telling you can't vote how you want to. I'm not telling you can't support who you want to. What I am simply saying is, look, I hate the political parties. Let's do away with them. Let's not. Here's the one thing I'm saying. 2 political parties suck. We should have 3. We should maybe have 4. We should maybe have 5. I certainly don't want one political party. I do not want one political party. That would be horrible. One political party is not beneficial to anybody. And that's exactly what we've got here in Indiana. We have one political party. We have a political party that's more or less called the Republican Party, and it is made up of Republicans and Democrats who have realized no one can win in the state of Indiana as Democrats, so everyone runs in one party. Doesn't mean that we still don't have Democrats. Doesn't mean that we don't have Republicans. It just means they have all realized that in order to win in the state of Indiana, you have to run as one party. We've been seeing this for quite some time now, and it has become very detrimental. That's why I'm hoping that we will see a day when a libertarian can become governor of Indiana. This would be the most perfect time for that. We have Donald Rainwater running for governor of the state of Indiana. We have a Democrat that's running for governor that used to be a Republican. She went the opposite way. She went the opposite way. We have a bunch of Republicans who, honestly, running for governor, every single one of them suck. None of them are good. None of them are good, period. This would be the most perfect time. Most perfect time to vote for Donald Rainwater. But nobody's going to do it. The people are not going to do it. People are going to be so afraid to go in there and pull that lever and vote for Rainwater. And that's insane to me. People are voting. I always hear people say, well, you're voting against your better judgment if you do that. You're not voting. If I vote for Rainwater, I'm throwing my vote to the other side. If I vote for Rainwater, I'm throwing my vote. The Democrats will win. Bullshit. If you vote for Rainwater, a Democrat is not going to win. Every time I vote for Rainwater, a kitten dies. So the bottom line is it's insane how they shouldn't. Independents and libertarians don't get elected. They don't get elected. They don't get elected, but the problem is maybe they should. The thing that's killing me is if we're in a situation where everyone's in one party running the Uni-party, I see that's hilarious. That makes me think of this Unigov thing. There's this big conspiracy that Stephen Brand is pushing this idea of Unigov. I don't know how many times we've talked on here. We've talked on here about over and over and over about how you cannot go Unigov unless the Indiana General Assembly votes that in. And in order for that to happen, you have to have a certain population amount in which Delaware County and Muncie is not going to hit in any of our lifetimes. I am going to be dead and gone and cold and dust before that ever has the capability to happen. I mean, the chances of Indianapolis merging northward to the point that it envelops us and Muncie is like a Speedway or Lawrence, that has more of a chance of happening than Muncie and Delaware County hitting the population size that we would be able to hit, that we would need to hit for Unigov to be triggered. And the thing is, I don't get how people are sharing this one comment over and over and over again in these groups in Delaware County about how Brand is pushing Unigov. I mean, stick with the ATF and the guns thing. At least that makes a little bit of sense. Stick with the fact that he's a terrorist, I guess. That makes a little bit of sense. But the Unigov crap is insane. But that's all coming from the mind of a few scared individuals that realize their ride is up. Their ride is up, and that's what it is. That's what all of this is about. That's what it is on a larger level. That's the and you know, the thing is, getting back to the running, you know, Rainwater winning as governor. No one will go in and do what they need to do because they're so afraid. Well, I'm going to be the one. But then these same people will say, well, one vote doesn't matter. One vote doesn't matter one way or another. Well, if one vote doesn't matter, then go in and vote for Donald Rainwater and send these 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 jokers that are vying to be Indiana's next governor, send them packing. I don't know. It's crazy to me. So, Chris Orto is desperately trying to convince everyone of Unigov. This is in his loser Facebook group. Yeah, I don't understand. Ask Brad Marshall if one vote doesn't matter. Man, listen to me. I had a grandmother that lost. My mom's mom lost an election by like 6 votes. And they went back and they recounted, and then she was up by like 9 votes. And then they recounted, and then she was down by like 11 votes. So the first time she lost by 6 votes. And then they recounted it, and then she was like, it swung the other way, and she was up by like a hand, like 9. And then they recounted again, and then it swung back the other way, but it was a bigger swing. And I think they recounted it in the last time, and it ended up like she lost by like 16 votes. So for anyone that says a single vote does not, I've always said for that very thing, I know 16 people at any given time. I know 16 people that will not vote that I could push hard enough to vote, to get them to vote. You know, as hard as I push for everyone to vote, I could always on election day go back and be like, damn it, I didn't talk to so-and-so. I should have talked to so-and-so. I should have talked to this guy. This, because you just run out of time. But this push that's going on, and it's really hard going on here in Delaware and Madison County, because I feel like they realize that they're really close to the end. And if they bobble this and they screw something up, they could be out of power. So they're trying and saying anything and everything that they can. They're doing and saying anything that they can do. They can do. And all of this on top of the fact that we've got to worry, is Russ Willis going to allow the election to be a fair election? Is Russ Willis going to allow the votes that go into the vote boxes, that go into the vote machines? Are he and the other elected election board members, are they going to allow those votes to be counted properly? Are they going to cheat? Is Rick Spangler, who's been more invested in this than really any other election I've seen, even more so than his own election, are they going to be above board when you go and you push your button for Stephen Brand? Is that going to be a button for Stephen Brand? If you get a mail-in ballot and you fill in the circle, and you mail it back, Stephen Brand, are they going to accept that? And for someone to say, well, that's not fair, you're disparaging you're disparaging Rick Spangler. Look, Rick shouldn't have put himself in that situation. Rick shouldn't have been calling people and asking them to change their votes, to change their support. I don't know. It's very crazy. And the fact that, we have a Republican Party that says, oh, I don't like Ryan Webb. I don't like Troy Ingram. I'm not going to, Troy Ingram's nothing. We're going to kick him out and he's not a part of us and blah, 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 blah. But then at the same time, they're okay with Mike Jones doing and saying what he does under the guise of speaking for the Republican Party. How is that okay? How's that okay? So it's only going to get worse. Today's the 28th. When you wake up tomorrow morning, there will be 8 days left. You can go in and you can vote all this week in the clerk's office during clerk's office hours. You can go in and you can vote this next coming Saturday. You can go in and you can vote on Monday until noon. And then the election, the upcoming primary election, is Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you can vote early, if you can vote on election day from 6 to 6, do that. If you can vote on election day, you should do that. I'm going to vote on election day. David. Will Mike Jones be there to snarl all the early votes? Oh, the other thing I want to tell everybody. If you're a Republican, specifically, if you're a Republican candidate, do like I know that Catherine is holding an event separate from the other the watch party. So I get it. She's having a big thing. That's a good thing. I'm going to try to stop by there. But for everybody in Delaware County, go to the Knights of Columbus. Don't do your own little thing. Don't go sulk. Listen, there are going to be winners and losers. We know it. It's an election. This is a tough game. You might win. You might lose. I don't know how it's going to work. The only thing that I am certain of is James King is losing this election. That's the only thing. Okay. I want to say this. I'm reading those comments. I think Russ needs to read the cast the vote records. So, Janet, basically, they'll be heading to the Knights of Columbus essentially right away. So at 6 p.m., they'll start heading to the Knights of Columbus. Now, I'm trying to determine what I should do. And maybe we can talk about that. Kate and Brandon and I can talk about that. Maybe I can talk about it with you all. That would be lovely. So okay, election night, I'm going to be out and about kind of all day doing like what I do always, giving kind of updates and posting and yada, yada, yada. I'll go live several times throughout the day. Generally, what I've done in the past is I have went to the Delaware County Clerk's office to await results. And then I've been up there as the results come in. Nobody gets, I mean, I'm getting them the same time that the clerk's office is getting them. And so it's basically just as fast as I can fire off the message. And basically what I do is I set up a bunch of pre things the night before. So like I'll set it up each way. I'll set it up, you know, brand wins, you know, whatever. And then I just plug in whatever happens and make it fit. But last year I did something different. I was here and we were live and we were waiting on results from here. Now the problem with that is we were waiting on their systems to go live and show us and waiting on people in the field. And I don't feel like that's as good. Almost what I feel like. Kate, come up here real quick. Maybe we can do a thing like we can talk to Brando and have Brandon come on and be live from his house, and you and Brandon can be on and I can be on from my phone, and like we can talk and shoot the shit, and then as results come in I can give them live, and I can take my other phone, so that way I could be calling like over to Madison County and calling to Henry County to be following what's happening as well.
And Catherine's saying you should head up there with her and you can do them all live from there. I think we want to be at the clerk's office though, huh?
The problem with that is then I'm not able to. I'm going to come over to you guys on Madison County, but I will have to follow what's going on here in Delaware County, obviously.
Christopher always says that election is his Christmas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we'll definitely be able to. We will.
Oh hell yeah, you're coming on.
Oh yeah. Win, lose, or draw, we'll have people come on. I don't know what you've got going on, Brando. I didn't know that you'd still be here, but maybe we can reserve your. If you're not have anything else going on, maybe we can.
He can pencil us into his busy schedule.
Yeah. Maybe we can fit you in. Let me help you get your headline. Start with headline: Ryan Webb wins in a landslide.
I think a better one would be all the ugly stepchildren win in landslides.
I love it. So okay, well,
I'm
we'll
down
talk
for
about
whatever.
That.
We'll do the thing.
Yeah, we'll figure it out one way or another. We'll figure that out. That's not a problem. Thank you very much. So yeah, we'll figure that out. So we'll be looking for that. Okay. So I guess the last thing I want to say, we've got the other story we're going to kick into here real quick, but the last thing I want to say about this is you guys and gals out there that are watching this, that are able to, or that don't care to fight, push back. When you're seeing people that are making broad statements like we're seeing Mike Jones and others make, people like Russ and all these people doing these things, we need people to call them out. What's happening is what we're noticing, and it's hilarious to me, that we are getting a large grouping of people blocking, being blocked by like Mike Jones. We're actually driving him nuts. because we're just simply fighting fire with fire. And it's amazing. Now, let me tell you, I received a message, and I'm not going to tell you who this message was from because I think it would be betraying. I think it would be betraying trust. But I got a message today from someone who you guys would flip your lids if you knew who it was, that was saying, look, I agree with you with Mike Jones. Mike Jones is out of control, you know, and this person is someone who just absolutely hates me. I've never done anything right because of Dan Ridenour. They don't like me because it's a Dan addict. I'll tell you that. Basically that. I'll tell you it's a Dan addict. And now it's amazing how many people on the Republican side of things, the old Republican side of things, that haven't liked me for the last year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years, because I've called Dan out on shit. They're okay with me now because I'm pushing for brand. So gross to me. It's like, look, I didn't need you back when you were telling me how worthless I was. I was doing just fine. I don't need you now. I'm cool to be liked and we can be friends, but just let me tell you, I know that you're hypocritical and it's disgusting. That's comical to me. So, FYI. Okay, look, I got to drop this. This is some weird news, some breaking news, kinda-ish. It's very strange. Something big is going on. Just tell me it's Shireen Wagley. No, it was not Shireen Wagley, but Shireen and I have been fine. We've been communicating and texting, and she'll like one of my posts, or I'll like one of her posts. We're all on team Kumbaya for right now. I think this next thing I'm getting ready to talk to you all about is gonna take me out of that Kumbaya moment, though. We've got some weird news that's happening right now. It's been happening out of the city of Muncie. Matter of fact, because let me do this like this. All right, and so out of Muncie, we've got some strange news and goings on. Back a couple weeks ago, I was contacted by an individual who advised me that I should look into an organization that has been sending invoices to the city of Muncie. And they have stated that this organization has been their words, not mine, has basically been bilking the city out of money for what we just simply do not know. And they've told me that there is some people involved, and some of these people may or may not work for the city of Muncie, as well as whatever's going on with this. I've been told that this is connected to the Visitors Bureau. I've been told that I needed to file some record requests from different angles on different things. On Friday, I issued a records request. Well, let's back up. So, nearly 2.5 weeks ago, I was contacted about this. Nearly 2.5 weeks ago, I was contacted about this. And I was told that there is others kind of within the administration that have been looking into this. And one of the names that I was given of someone who was looking into this was Micah Wilson. And then look what happened last week. Poof. Micah resigns. And if you recall, Micah gave a very cryptic message in her post. What do I mean by that? Well, Micah said in her post that she let me pull this up and read this to you. Okay. Ah. Who would have sent it? No, not there. Let me see. Oh, right here. I am happy to announce that as of May 3rd, there it is.
We found it at the exact same time. Sorry, I was slow.
No, that's great. You're fine. I love it. I'm happy to announce that as of May 3rd, I have accepted a great opportunity to work from home. I will be pursuing some personal passion projects and looking for ways to hold government more accountable. Now, that's really crazy to me because Micah, at least as long as she's worked with Dan, has not ever done anything to hold anybody accountable for anything. She decided that she was all in on working for the homeboy, and she was all about the home team, and she hated me for it. She hated me for this because I dared to question him, dared to question them, dared to question the administration in any way. How dare you? But for her to say that she's going to be looking for ways to hold government accountable, that's a weird comment. Unless a week before she made that comment, I'm getting messages from people saying, you know, Micah's tangled up in this. She's trying to look for things. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yada, yada, yada. Well, let me be clear. She resigns. I'm told all this information ahead of her resignation. Then on Friday, I put in a record request for the following information. Any and all emails between Dan Ridenour and Dustin Clark between January 1st, 2020 and Friday's date concerning the 1,000 Trees program, ground maintenance, forestry grant, professional services, or Greenlight Resources, LLC.
They'll deny that one, saying that it's too broad. You're going to have to break it down into 8 different records requests just to make them happy.
Right, yeah. Well, and I wanted to see what they would do, because I knew that would happen. Next, I requested the contract between the city of Muncie and Dustin Clark in whatever contracts that he has. If he's got 1, if he's got 2, if he's got 5, I want them all. I then requested the contract between Dan Ridenour and Greenlight Resources. I then requested any and all invoices that Greenlight Resources has sent the mayor's office, the city of Muncie, and I then asked for the same thing as far as Dustin Clark is concerned, and then I asked for all paid checks to Greenlight and all paid checks to Dustin Clark. Now, for those of you that might only loosely know, Dustin Clark is the supervisor of Prairie Creek. He is one of the department heads that's appointed. It's an appointed position, and he's been in that position. But not only is he the department head for Prairie Creek superintendent, but he's also been in a contract position, which is really funky. And he's been writing the grants for the city, writing grants, or supposed to be some kind of grant writer for the city of Muncie. So I wanted to know what kind of contracts he has, because what I am hearing is Greenlight Resources, LLC, whatever that is, has been doing work for the city of Muncie and has been billing for a lot of work. I went back through the controller's monthly run out that he puts on the city's website, and just as a cursory look, I found 3 different payments to Greenlight Resources, and one was for $7,500, another was for $7,500, and then the last one was for $2,500, and that was December 15th, 2023, February 2nd, 2024, and March 22nd, 2024. So I've asked for that. I've asked for the checks and asked for all of that information. I've been told that something is going on here. I've been told that Micah was looking into this and that this has a lot to do with the reason that she resigned. Now, while I've been looking into that since 2 weeks before Micah quit, on through her quick resignation through Friday, I found that not only was Micah the HR director, but Micah was a board member to the Muncie Visitors Bureau. Okay. Muncie Visitors Bureau. Now, the Visitors Bureau is a weird little organization. You would think that it falls under the city of Muncie. I'm not really sure what the deal is with it. I think it actually falls under the county. It gets money from the county, from the innkeeper's tax deal. And so it's kind of strange in its funding. They would always take the budget to the county council and they would approve it. They could never cut anything on it. It's just a weird deal. That being said, it is absolutely subsidized by city and county tax dollars. So anything that they've got, they are requestable through an APRA request as well. So tomorrow I will be sending a record request to the Visitors Bureau for more information. But I found that Micah was on the board to the Visitors Bureau. And then I woke up. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. Friday, I learned that the Visitors Bureau board and I would assume the attorneys got together and that the Visitors Bureau removed the director, Kevin Kirby, and the marketing director, Trenton Bush, from the Visitors Bureau. Like, removed them. They wiped everything on their website. There's nothing about them. They're not there. Gone. They vanished. And I'm hearing the rumor mill say that this is over some spending issues and missteps with the eclipse, yada, yada, yada. And then I'm also hearing rumors that this has got something to do with Dustin Clark and this Greenlight Resources. Well, hearing that Micah resigned last week and that Kevin Kirby and Trenton Bush both are unceremoniously booted, it makes me go, what's going on there? Something seems to be a little amiss. And then I hear through a very reliable source on Saturday morning that Dustin Clark has been put on administrative leave. So now that means, if this is all true, Micah's gone, Dustin Clark's been put on administrative leave, and the two people, the director and the marketing director for the Visitors Bureau, have all been removed in one form or another from their places of otherwise being employed. I'm not 1000% saying, and this is I do this only seldomly, and I'm generally not wrong. I'm going out on a little bit of a limb saying this part about Dustin because it's still not 1000% clarified if Dustin is in fact on administrative leave or not. I'm in the process of finding that out. Well, that's a good question, Jackie. That is a really good question. And we're going to go through that and we're going to learn this together. Before I tell you that, though, all right, I want to say that I have sent an email to the city of Muncie and to the people at the Visitors Bureau asking for clarification of what's going on about Dustin and about all of this. And I can tell you that at least find it. I have this. Okay. And I cannot tell you where this came from, but this is a statement that I've been given. Apparently, there will be some kind of press release issued tomorrow reference the Muncie Visitors Bureau. A formal press release. However, I have been tipped off on this evening. And I have the, I guess, press release now, which says the Muncie Visitors Bureau or Destination Muncie, whatever they're calling themselves now, whatever their official title is. We'll just call it the Visitors Bureau because that's what so many people know it as. The Muncie Visitors Bureau is conducting an internal investigation into certain expenditures and is currently awaiting the results of that investigation. The board has taken action to ensure there are no future issues. All questions on the matters should be directed to the legal counsel, Cannon, Bruns, and Murphy. Murphy being Brandon Murphy. He's someone that I speak to frequently, and I'm going to reach out to him tomorrow and find out what I can find out from this, okay? So that is what I have, and it'll be really interesting to see how closely that resembles the press release that they put out tomorrow. So that's that. I also have it on high authority that LaShonta Vaughn has also been given the interim director's position. Keep in mind, the interim director's position at one point did belong to Dale Basham. So that's interesting, okay? So that is as it relates to the Visitors Bureau weirdness. Now, let me tell you, I don't know how all of this is connected, but I don't believe in coincidences, all right? So I don't believe that these are just two bizarre happenings at one time. I do not believe that. Now, back to Jackie's question. Who is Greenlight Resources Company? What services do they provide? CEO, yada, yada, yada. All right. Well, if we pull up the Indiana Secretary of State business search.
I did that for you, and it's on the screen, sweetie.
Kick ass. And we go to the Greenlight Resources. All right. And we see that it says the governing person information is Morgan Paul Powell Warden. Morgan Powell Warden. Okay. And then we are able to see that they have an address. Well, that's interesting. 2432 South Hoyt. And if we go and we take a look at that address looks like this. Okay. That's what the address at 2432 South Hoyt looks like. Doesn't look like a business. I don't see anything going on there. If you go to Beacon and you pull that up, that comes back to one Harold and Karen McCall, and they apparently live at 1850. Well, I'm not going to say where they live, but they're there. It's all public record. You can find it all. All right. So who are all these people? What's all of this mean? Well, just doing a cursory look on Facebook. All right. I decided, I'll go down down through and see if I can find out who Morgan Warden is. Well, when I pull Morgan Warden up on Facebook right here, it tells me that I have two mutual friends. Well, who are my two mutual friends? Oh, looky. My two mutual friends are Michelle Owen and Dustin Clark. Dustin Clark and Michelle Owen. Well, who's Michelle Owen and Dustin Clark? Dustin Clark is obviously the man that we're talking about. Michelle Owen is the communications director for the city of Muncie. And look, I'm not 100% sure what the deal is with these two anymore. It was and or has been alleged that at least for some point or period in time they were dating. I don't know if they are still dating or not. I have no clue. I have no way of knowing if they are still technically dating or not. I don't know. But I know that at least at one point there was word that they were an item, okay, and connected. Now, I do want to show you something else that kind of lends credibility to that. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to show you this. Okay. Okay, yeah, right here. Okay. There is a property in Muncie that if you click on the property in Muncie and in Beacon, and when you click on it, I'm not going to show exactly. Well, it's public record, so it is what it is. When you click on the property, it comes back to it says Clark Dustin and Holly M. Owen. Now, Clark Dustin is Dustin Clark, and Holly M. Owen is none other than the Muncie woman, better known as Michelle Owen. And it's cute how their names are kind of like different than what we know them as. It's almost like they're attempting to like hide. Isn't that funky? Like, what's the deal with that? So what all of this means, man, I've got no idea. Who all of these people are, I have no clue. If you look up Green Light Resources on Facebook, there are a couple of different things that come up. Have you ever used these 5 telehealth services or one we missed? What was your experience like? Read on Greenlight blog, Greenlight recruitment, Greenlight Marine. I don't see anything that says Greenlight Resources or Greenlight Resources, MUNCIE. Greenlight Resources Muncie. There's just nothing. There's nothing there when I click that up. If I go out of Facebook and I look for Greenlight Resources, I see greenlight.ai, and then it says resources. We're human cloud experts. cutting edge insight from industry leading professionals with institutions in 25 plus. I don't think that this is it when I look at this. Okay. And so I'm not seeing anything here. Now I'm going to tell you what I was told. I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you exactly what I was told by the people who have reached out to me. And I want to be clear. One of the sources in this situation, I've had several sources reach out to me. One of them is an attorney, and just to make it very clear, and so that I'm not like trying, it's not like throwing Brandon. It's not Brandon Murphy. I said I mentioned Brandon Murphy's name. It's not Brandon Murphy and I don't want to give that impression. It was not Brandon. So I don't know what is going on here. There's a lot of information that still needs to be uncovered, but I'm just letting you know that if we are in a situation where so far this term, since January, the city has lost Katie Wolf, Adam, the city engineer, Adam, what's his last name? I want to keep saying Adam Levine. I know that's not him. Adam, city engineer Adam. And now Micah. And if Dustin Clark.
Adam Leach,
that's who he is. Adam Leach. And now if we are seeing Micah gone and something going on with Dustin and something going on with the two people from the Visitors Bureau, you got to start to ask yourself what's going on here. So something wonky. I don't know. Just wanted to bring it up and let you know we will be talking about this more in the future. It is something to follow. It is where there's smoke, there's fire, and there is way too much smoke. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Lastly, I just want to say that there's been a lot of people that have brought up this post that has been talked about. I want to be very clear. I do not have a problem with the sheriff of Henry County trying to give the guys and the girls in jail hope. I'm definitely not an issue. I don't have an issue with religion. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer myself. I have no problem with religion. I have a problem if he is jamming religion down anyone's throat. I don't want him to be, breaking the law. He needs to be very careful with what he's doing. And I will say that the sheriff received a letter from an organization called Freedom from Religion the other day, I guess basically telling him that maybe they plan to sue based on something that he's done in the past with baptisms and posting them and yada, yada, yada. The biggest problem that Sproles has is if he would just do what he does and not post it for all of the attaboys that he gets, he would be better off. But no, that's just not his style. So late last week, he posted pictures of him doing baptisms again. And the Henry County Republican Party shared those pictures. And then some people said, hey, wait a minute, this is going to get the county in some trouble. And with everything going on, we do not need to throw, gasoline on the fire. So we should take those down. And they did. And that caused the sheriff to post this post. Good old boy system alert. Yesterday, our local Republican Party shared a post on Facebook from the Henry County Sheriff's Office official Facebook page that displayed the Henry County Sheriff's Office official Facebook page, or the displayed images of a baptism service celebrating great things happening in the lives of our female inmates. This post immediately drew criticism from other members within the party, and the post was quickly deleted by the party chairman. The message this sends is loud and clear. Do not promote good things happening at the jail because some of the remaining good old boys do not like the sheriff and they are currently up for re-election. We don't care if the post was celebrating the inmates. I am personally sickened by the sheer ugliness of several of our elected officials who will do anything they can in their career, anything they can in the office official capacity to try to only highlight negative items in regard to the sheriff's office. I don't know what I was saying there. Let me read this again. I am personally sickened by
it on screen for you.
Yeah, it might be easier because it's too small. Okay, there we go. Now I can see it. Thank God. All right. I am personally sickened by the sheer ugliness of several of our elected officials who will do anything they can in their official capacity to try to only highlight negative items in regard to the sheriff's office and will actively see to it that the promotion... Hold on a second. Hello? Who is this?
Yo, dog, you there?
Hello.
Look, I know it's you. I opened her phone up. Yo, dog, you there?
Hello?
By the way, I don't mean on some gay shit, but you look a little small down there, my man.
I don't know. Somebody just pranked me live. All right. I was hoping you'd be able to hear it, but it wasn't loud enough, I guess. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Anyways. All right. So let's see here. To actively promote the positive progress will be stopped if at all possible. You would think you are watching MSNBC News. I personally care about the success of our inmates and drug court participants. I will always celebrate and promote their accomplishments and successes. Pay attention, Henry County. Election day is coming soon. Okay? So, listen. I'm going to be honest. This is a very tricky tightrope that we've got to walk. I am never going to be mad at the sheriff for doing something in kindness to the people in the jail. It's better than shooting them with beanbags. It's better than, firing his COs for dealing with stressful situations. But the fact that he has to self-promote is the issue. The sheriff was not mad that nothing says he can't continue to do his stuff. Just stop the self-promotion. He was not mad that people were questioning what he was doing. He was mad that his self-promotion cannot be seen by others. And I think that Todd Hyde was out of his mind in posting that to the Republican page in the first place. They have an election to be working on, and the sheriff is not currently up for re-election. He shouldn't have even been focusing on that. So some folks that support Sproles and have some deep pockets made not like violent threatening, but like threatening statements in meaning they were going to go have a talk with Hyde and let him know what's up around here. And I just think that kind of behavior is not what we should be doing. It is perfectly normal that clear-headed elected officials in Henry County would call to a friend in the Republican Party and say, hey, the sheriff has us in a tight spot here, dude. Like, we're in all kinds of legal turmoil and we're over our heads. You know, we just got a new insurance company, 20 days ago, and the sheriff's already got someone out killing people in high-speed pursuits. Can you not help him hang the county? Take that down. The fact that Hyde did it, in my opinion, shows that it's like, okay, yeah, so he was reasonable. Nothing against the sheriff. It's nothing against Christianity. Am I saying that no one ever targets or attacks Christianity? No. Look, I know that Christianity is a target. I'm a conservative Republican. I get it. That's not what Sproles is worried about here. Sproles is worried about his image. His image. A couple of them do. Ejac. There were two people. Specifically speaking of the Garishes, I think is their names. They're the folks that have at least they're supposed to have money and be somebody, whatever. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about, Big E? So that's what's going on in Henry County. That's what people have been talking about. I'm obviously going to be following up on that. There's a lot to follow up on. There's some record requests, and I definitely have some record requests in Muncie that I'm still pushing for. Obviously, with what's going on, that will be important to get. So we'll have more information on this the rest of this week. Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind they are keep in mind there's only 8 more days until the election. They've got a $10 horse and an $80,000 truck. Okay, well, that's hilarious. So maybe All right. Shots fired. Shots fired. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the show for tonight. Hey, do us a favor, if you will, please consider clicking one of the links over here, right here, doing one of these YouTube things, smashing that like, subscribe if you haven't, ring the bell. Thank you for those of you that have been commenting, the good, the bad, the controversial, the non-controversial, and share the show with everyone you know. That is the biggie. I thank you all very, very much. And we will have another show tomorrow. We'll be back here at 9 p.m. Eastern on the dot. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, a great rest of this weekend. Have a great Monday, and we're going to have a great week, God willing. Take care. Good night. God bless. Goodbye.